So welcome to our fifth and final kosha. And if anybody's interested, I have all of the kosha classes, the last five, well, this one will be the fifth, recorded and on YouTube. I just have to send you the link if there's any that you want to repractice, or if you want all of them to go over them at some point. I do have those, so you can just let me know if that's something you're interested in, and you guys online as well. So today's class is going to be very different from the other classes that we have been doing, which were quite physical, both in our breath and in our postures. Today is going to be almost like a moving meditation. We're going to be starting with on our backs for the first while, and ending with a longer Yoga Nidra than we did last week. So I hope you guys all brought a blanket so you don't get cold. And this kosha, if you guys remember, everybody who was here at the beginning, can you see the light that shines through this? It lights up when I move it. I know you guys online won't be able to see it, but this was my representation of our center of pure consciousness. And then each layer of our koshas is around this. So we're working with the bliss body, or Ananda Maya kosha today. And so that is the part of us that is closest to pure consciousness, closest to our highest self, and the most subtle of all the koshas. Is that music too loud for you guys back there? Turn that down. And so this is also called the bliss body. And it's not something that we can, when we're working with our wisdom body, something we can observe. It's something we experience. And so that's why we're doing the longer Yoga Nidra, because that is that opportunity when our physical body is resting, our mind is resting, where we can access that part of ourselves. And most of our lives, we don't very often get to that bliss body unless you're practicing these practices on a regular basis. But sometimes we get glimpses of that. And then, of course, around that is our wisdom body, which we talked about last week. And that's our intuition and our inner knowing. And then our busy mind, our pranayama, and our physical body. And we're all really familiar with the physical body and that busy mind that's always got a running narrative. But these other more subtle parts of ourselves are not as visible, or we don't spend as much time in them, or we forget that we even have them, that they exist. And so these practices, these last 5 weeks, for me anyway, and I'm hoping for you through the practices we've been doing, have given you an opportunity to realize that you are so much more than this physical body that we spend so much time not liking or noticing all our aches and pains, that we think that's all we are, our aches and pains, or our busy mind who's always telling us stuff that isn't true, that we are so much more than those two things, but that's where we spend most of our waking life. And so hopefully these last 5 weeks have woken us up to the fact that we're not just those things. We're much, much deeper and more. So today we're going to start, I think we're going to start lying down. And if you want to have your blanket on the floor to lie down, we're going to be doing some work where we're sliding our foot on our mat. And so if you've got a really sticky mat, you might want to lay your blanket down or put your socks on so that your foot can slide a little more easier. Or yeah, that's probably the best thing to do. Well, I was thinking, because when I demo, I'll probably lay with my feet off of my mat, but then you guys will be wearing like a puzzle in here, laying all weird directions. So, so go ahead and lie down to get started, and you guys at home too. And as you lie down, we're just going to take a few moments to intentionally arrive. And you can close your eyes here if you're comfortable having your eyes closed. We're going to take this time to journey inwards, towards source, towards the seer, and towards the vast sea of awareness. So although the mind is the king of the senses and everything we perceive through our senses, the breath is the king of the mind. So we can begin to calm our mind by connecting with our breath. And begin to connect with that deep belly breath. And if you need your hand on your belly to be able to feel that, go ahead and place your hand there. And take a really deep inhale and pause at the top of your inhale with belly full. And slowly exhale out the whole day, all the negativity, all the stress. Let it all go on your breath. Take 3 more breaths like that. Deep inhales, pausing at the top of your breath. And slowly exhale, releasing everything from your day, your week. Let it go. Start fresh right now. 1 more breath like that. And then let the breath begin to settle the turbulent river of thoughts from your day, from your week. Let your breath be fluid and imagine it like a leaf floating in a stream, just passing by. And rather than letting your mind be there and then, come to the here and the now. Be loose in your interior. Let your tongue be soft in your mouth. Let your diaphragm softly move with your breath. Your belly soft. The abdominal wall soft. Empty your day on the exhale 1 more time before we begin. And then let the inhale breath flow into the tributaries of your arms and of your legs, bringing new energy, new life, positivity with each breath. And if you've got your hands on your belly, let your hands just come to your side on the floor beside you. And we're going to, I think most of you are familiar with Baddha Konasana, which is like your legs in a butterfly pose. And if you're not sure, you can peek up. I'm going to sit in Baddha Konasana so you know what that shape is. So I'm not going to ask you to go into that pose, but I'm going to be referring to this pose a few times. So we're going to start with your right leg. So both legs are straight, right leg. And just slide your heel along your blanket, your mat, whatever, but with your knee out to the side as though you're sliding just that right leg into Baddha Konasana. So keeping your right knee as low to the floor as you slide it as you can. So you're kind of like in a tree pose here. So your foot is up against your thigh. And then slowly slide it back down. And all our movements today, as I said, are like a mindful meditation. So let's do the left leg. So keeping your knee as low as you can. Gently slide your foot up to your thigh as though you're moving into tree pose. So this is like a half Baddha Konasana. And then slide it down. Really feel, keep moving, alternating side to side, nice and slow. And really begin to feel into the hip joint, the joint capsule itself, all the little ligaments, and muscles and tendons that create this movement. And just notice what you're sensing. Notice how one side might feel different than the other. Notice where you feel freedom. Notice where you feel contraction. Just nice and easy, going back and forth a few more times. Do each leg one more time, but let's end on your left leg because we started on the right. And when you get to your left, whatever cycle you're in, just pause and keep your foot up against your thigh for a moment till everybody catches up. And now rotate your knee up to the ceiling so that the sole of your foot comes down onto the floor, and let your knee come across your body. And then go ahead and extend your leg down straight again. So we're just going to make this kind of circular motion, coming with your knee out to the side, bringing the knee up and over, and then straightening the leg once again. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Yeah, it looks like everybody's got it. So you're just making a little bit more of a circular movement with the hip and just sliding it. So you're still coming knee along the floor. Once you get to your position, bringing the knee up and over, and then going ahead and sliding it out and starting that whole movement all over again. And alternating legs, sorry. So you're just adding a little bit into it. So as you come into the next one and you rotate your hip so that your knee points up to the ceiling, stop with your foot on the floor for a moment, spread your arms wide and press into your foot, and almost like you're coming into a half bridge and a half twist. So if this isn't making sense by my words, you can take a peek up as I rotate my knee up. I'm just pressing into the floor and arching the back a little bit and looking towards your opposite, to your right leg, or towards your right fingers if you're using your right leg. And then extend down. If you need to see that again, I'll do it again. We rotate out to the side, come up, press into that foot, arch the back, and we're really opening that side body, that front body, and then slide it back out. And then moving to the other side. Whoops. So it's kind of like we're almost doing a half bridge pose. We're lifting up that one hip a little bit, arching the back, and keeping both shoulders down as you do this. So it's just really gentle movements into the spine, into the front body, into the hip, and just building on the previous movements that we were doing. Do one or two more to each side. And then when that feels good and feels even for you, you can straighten both legs and just take a moment, a couple breaths in stillness. And once everybody catches up, we'll move on to the next thing. And just take a moment to see what stillness feels like. Notice any sensations in your body. We're going to be doing a lot of this, doing some movement and then just sensing. And then let's gently slide both heels up so the knees are bent, soles of the feet are on the floor, and bring your feet a little bit wide here. And then we're going to slowly drop your knees over to the right. So we're coming into a spinal twist. Your arms are still extended. And then again, arch your back slightly here. And then rock back down, knees come to center, and slowly drop knees to the other side. And lift up the hip just like we did before, but both knees are over to the side this time. Drop the hip down and keep going back and forth like that a couple of times. Just bringing a little bit of movement and a bit of arch into the back as you come into your Full twist. Just notice how gently that's opening the front body and creating some lubrication in the hips. And now as you come to the right side, notice how your bottom leg, your right leg, is in that same Baddha Konasana shape. Now press that right knee down and see if you can lift your right foot up off the floor just a couple inches. And then bring it back down and come to center and do the same to the other side. And flex your feet as you drop your knees over. And then press that left knee down and lift the left foot a little bit. And notice how that changes sensations and range of motion in your hip here. And just doing the same thing back and forth from side to side, moving slowly. Notice how the bottom leg is in that Baddha Konasana, and then notice what you feel when you try to lift the bottom foot, not the top foot, the bottom foot with knee down. Yeah, you got it, Mary. Nice. And just do that a couple of more times from side to side. And begin to feel into these gentle meditative movements. Feel into the sensations, into the calming effect that it can have on the mind and the breath. Do one more time to each side, and then we'll stop, extend the legs in stillness once again, and just notice. Notice how your hips feel. Notice energy, perhaps beginning to move through the body. Notice your breath. And then take a moment's pause here in your stillness. And then you can bring, we're going to bring your feet back to the floor, knees bent. Bring your hands under your head, intertwine your fingers as though you were going to do a sit-up. And we're kind of going to do a really gentle one. So if you think about where your elbows are right now, it's like there, and your arms are in Baddha Konasana now. So with your knees bent, soles of the feet on the floor, we're going to inhale and press your elbows back into the floor, and at the same time, curl your low back or arch your low back up a little bit. So you're pressing your tailbone down towards the floor, if that makes sense. And then as you exhale, release your low back into the floor, curl your pubic bone up, your tailbone up, and lift your elbows up and lift your head just a little bit off the floor. So now we're going to oscillate between those two movements. So as you inhale, press the elbows into the floor, arch your back up. So it's kind of like we're doing cat-cow with our spine. And then as you exhale, curl up, draw up. And inhale, open the elbows, press into the floor, arch the back. And exhale, do the opposite. Curl into yourself. And we're not doing real hard sit-ups. We're just creating this cat-cow motion with our spine in a very different position. Keep moving a few more rounds here. Noticing sensations in your spine. And if you wish, as you curl up on your exhale, you might even lift your hips a wee bit up off the floor. Not a lot, just a little bit, like the babyest of bridge. And do a couple like that. Really press those elbows into the floor, arch your back. And last round now. And then we'll stop again for stillness as you complete a full round of inhale and exhale for this last one. And as you release down for your last one, just take a moment in stillness to notice the sensations again. Notice your breath. Notice what's going on in the mind. And try to stay in the here and now. So now we're going to come up to seated. So let's roll to your either side and the fetal position, find your way up, or however you want to get up to a seat. And you're going to start with your knees bent. And actually, I'm going to do it this way. So knees bent and feet about mat width apart. So we're just going to have your hands behind you, sit up nice and tall. We haven't done deer pose for a while, but it's kind of what we're moving into. But we're going to just kind of roll in and out. So take an inhale and center. As you exhale, let your knees drop over towards your right side and a little gentle twist to your right. And then we come back to center and do the same to the other side. And just going back and forth just a few times. We're going to add on to this pose like we have been doing for all of our movements. Just that gentle rocking motion. Notice where you feel sensations, if it's in your hips, if it's in your side body. And notice if you're being able to stay connected to your breath using your exhale to create your twist. And your inhale as you come back to center. Now on this next one, whichever side you're on, actually let's all go to the right side so you won't be confused when I'm saying right and left arm. So we're going to reach, if you got your knees over to the right, we're going to reach that left hand as far as we comfortably can. You can come down to your elbow or use your right hand to support you and just reach with that left hand. Not forcing, just finding that space where you feel a little bit of opening sensation without causing any pain. And just take a breath or two there. And then let's slowly come back up and rotate to the other side, doing exactly the same thing, this time with your right hand. So reaching that right hand kind of at a diagonal, same direction as your knees. And stretch into that right side body then. Breathe into any constriction you feel, whether it's hips or side body or shoulder, whatever you're feeling. And then slowly come back up. Pause in your center. And we're going to make our way to downward facing dog. I told you we're only doing dog twice, so this is one of them. So take your time moving into your downward facing dog, curling your toes under, hands slightly ahead of your shoulders, and lift the hips up. Now, in our other classes that we were doing, one of the cues I gave you was to really press down into all four corners of your mat with your hands and your feet as though you're trying to stick your mat down with stickies. So really stick down all four corners of your mat and let your head just shower down. Maybe gaze either towards your knees or even towards your belly button. Play with your drishti. When we're on our devices and our computers, our eyes are constantly moving quickly. So when we're in our yoga class and we're concentrating on our drishti, steadying our gaze, that helps to counteract that lack of ability to concentrate that happens from the movement of our eyes constantly. Let's take one more nice long breath in our downward facing dog. And then we're going to make our way onto our belly. Now, I don't care how you get there. I said we weren't doing any chaturangas, so you can lower down from plank if you want, or lower through your knees, but make your way onto your belly for a cobra. So as you inhale, let's just do 3 normal cobras, but let your head be the last thing to come up. So as you inhale, roll up and let your head be the last thing that rises. And then roll down, let your forehead touch. 2 more like that. Inhale, roll up, let your head come up last. And exhale, roll down, forehead touches. Last one, inhale, roll up, let the head come up last. And exhale, roll down. Now we're gonna do something, I call them cobra rolls. I'm sorry, Andrea, you're not gonna be able to see me. I'm gonna move over here. So I'm gonna ask you to bend your knees. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have your hands grounded beside you. We're just going to windshield washer our knees over to the side. So my shins just went over to the right. So I'm pressing into my right hand a little bit and then coming over. Now I've got my head up, but I'm going to ask you to keep your forehead down as you do this motion from side to side, and let your forehead roll from side to side on your mat so that you feel it's almost like a massage across your forehead as you roll from side to side. And just feel that sensation of your whole forehead rolling across your mat like a gentle massage. And feel that little bit of opening through your side body. And then, if you wish, you can also, as you roll, say to the right side, if you have the opening, you can step your left foot out behind you. And then roll to the other side. Step the right foot out behind you. And just roll back and forth like that a few times. So it's like a little bit more of a twist, a little bit more of an opening. And if that is not available to you to touch your top foot behind you, that's okay. It's just an option to add a little bit more opening if you have the space in your body to do that. And begin to feel that nice kind of meditative massage happening in the body by these gentle movements that we're doing. And if you think about how to soothe a baby, we rock that baby. So think about you're rocking your nervous system here, soothing your nervous system, rolling across your forehead. Do one more and then come back to center, extend your legs and extend your arms out in front of you, forehead down on the mat. Breathe into your belly here. Take a moment for noticing in stillness. And then we're going to make our way back into downward facing dog. You might want to stop in tabletop as you curl your toes under. You might want to press up and back, however you get there. And let's take 3 breaths in your downward facing dog. And each breath, think about lengthening your side body and lifting the hips up off your waist, pressing the top of the mat away from you, lifting the hips a little bit higher. Taking one more breath. And then let's float the right leg to the sky in 3-legged dog. And as you exhale, step that right foot up between your hands. Pivot your back foot down. And we're going to rise up for Warrior 2. So we'll take a moment in our Warrior 2 to start. And then we're going to soften Warrior 2 down a little bit as well. Maybe I'll turn this way for you guys. So on your next inhale, straighten your front leg. Release your hands to your hips. Bring your awareness to your back leg. And think about gluing down that back heel, the outer back heel, and really activating this entire leg as you press strongly down into that back leg. And then as we take a nice inhale and lengthen up, simply bend your front leg. And take your hand to that inner thigh, and it's like that Baddha Konasana shape. We're lengthening that inner thigh forward and to the back. Straighten that front leg. We're going to go in and out a couple of times, just each time perhaps coming a little deeper. Feel into that hip joint. It's almost like we're lubricating the hip joint as we move in and out. Inhaling, we lengthen the spine up. Exhaling, we bend a little deeper. Keep moving in and out a couple more times. Now on this next one, as we move in, we're going to stay here and make sure that you're not leaning forward, that you're stacked right over your hips. Extend your arms, look over your front fingers. Is your back foot still actively pressing down into your heel, or is it just hanging out back there? Maybe you can sink a little deeper now that we've opened the hips a little bit, and keep that action as though you're, it's like my hand is extending through my inner thigh. You can do the same thing. so that you're releasing that inner thigh back, opening through the hips in your Baddha Konasana shape on that right leg. Take one more breath here, and then simply come up. Turn your toes parallel, and then turn your left toes to the back of your mat. Let's see what's going on at the back of the room. So let's come into warrior two with arms extended for the first one. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing that we just did. So as you exhale, press into that front foot straight and release your hands to your hips. Just check in if your shoulders are right over your hips so you're not leaning forward. Press that back heel down, the outer heel. Just really press it down, activate that whole leg so it's working. Keep that all the same and simply bend your front knee as you exhale. Straighten as you inhale. And let's move slowly, slow meditative movements like our moving meditation in and out of your warrior two. Feel into that left hip joint as you bend and move into your warrior. Make sure you're not leaning forward. Check in what's happening with your body if it's staying stationary. Let's do one more in and out, nice and slow with your breath. The exhale takes us into it. The inhale lengthens us up. This time as we move into it, extend your arms, come into your warrior two. Look over your front fingers. That action of that inner left thigh as though you're brushing your hand. Actually, let's all do that. I see a few knees dropping into center. Take your hand on your inner thigh from your groin to your knee and just press it long and back. Take two more breaths here. One more breath. And then rise up. Turn your toes so they are facing the long side of your mat. Feet are parallel or maybe even a little bit pigeon-toed. Taking a nice inhale here. So those of you who are facing the wall, if you want to turn around so you're facing center so that you can see, if you have to look up, you can, because we're going to do a bit of a twist here. So hands can come to your hips. Take an inhale, lengthen up. And as we exhale, folding forward, releasing hands to the floor. If you need a block, you can have your hands on a block here. But as you inhale, it's like halfway lift. Come to your fingertips, perhaps, and lengthen through your spine. And then we're going to take our right hand and reach the palm of your hand across to your left shin or ankle. And then take your left hand and stack it on top of that hand. And then we're orienting we're twisting our belly to the left towards that leg and moving our torso towards that leg. Even though it might not necessarily be over it, we're moving it in that direction. Let your head drop and then bend your opposite knee, bend your right knee. And as you bend your right knee, maybe you can twist the belly to the left a little bit more. Fold over that left leg. And then slowly begin to press that right leg straight or straighter. Pressing the right thigh back without forcing. And then staying here for a couple of breaths. And as you are pressing that right leg straighter, do it slowly, not forcing. Let's have 3 more breaths here. Two more breaths. One more breath. And then come back to center, to your halfway lift, to your fingertips, nice long spine. And now left palm comes to your right shin or ankle, whatever is available to you. Right hand stacks on top. And then orienting your torso towards that right leg, twisting the belly towards your right. And then bend the left knee, the opposite knee bends. Maybe twist the belly a little more to the right. And then slowly begin to press the opposite leg, the left leg, begin to press it towards straight. And notice the sensations as you slowly do that. Nice breath. Elbows are out to the side here. Elbows can be bent and out to the side. And see if you can find stillness and just bring your awareness to your breath here. Two more breaths. One more breath. Then release to center, come to your fingertips again. And then we're going to reach behind and grab our heels now. So you might need to bend your knees a little bit to do that. So just find your heels or even the back of your ankle or the back of your calves, whatever again is available to you. And then bend your knees really deeply. Bend, bend, bend so your hips are coming closer to the floor. Drop your head. And then slowly begin to straighten or press the thighs back as the sit bones begin to lift. Notice the sensations there. And if you really liked how that felt, you can do that one more time, bending deeply. Let your head drop. And then slowly begin to press the thighs back. Press the feet down. Press the heels down. Elbows out to the side. One more breath. And then release your hands. Fingertips extend long. And then I'll give you an option here. You can either heel toe your feet together, or bend your knees, bring weight into your hands and hop your feet together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, rise up. Draw your hands to your heart center. Drop your chin just a little bit. If you came up fast, just to make sure you're not getting dizzy. And just dropping your chin will help to bring the blood flow back into equilibrium. And just pause here a couple moments in your mountain pose. Notice how even though our movements have been very slow and meditative and simple, just notice the sensations in your body and as energy flows. And then bring your awareness into your feet. We're going to move into a simple tree pose. So I know I had some of you guys turn in different directions. You can turn whatever direction to the top of your mat. And we're going to move into tree pose. So let's start with the left foot, grounding the left foot down, and see if you can spread your toes enough that you can see your mat between your toes. And you can start with hands on your hips if you wish. And we're going to externally rotate. It's like that same external rotation of that thigh, just like we've been doing in all of our positions in our class. Lift up through the standing hip, and then find a spot for your foot. It can be your shin, it can be your ankle, it can be your thigh. You decide where you're going to be. And then find that drishti, that spot to gaze, where you can keep your eyes focused and steady. And if you're going to fall up. Maybe you want to grow your arms and grow your arms up. And sometimes I find if I'm struggling with my balance on any particular day, if I reach my arms out wide with palms up, it helps. Once you find your steadiness, maybe you reach up, grow up, fall up. Keep your steady gaze, your steady drishti. Even when your eyes want to wander. One more breath. And then come back to center into your mountain pose. Spread toes wide once again. See if you can see the mat between your toes, and let's move into second side. So lifting up through that right hip, externally rotating, just like we've been doing in all our Baddha shapes we've been making. And then again, find where your foot's going to be, on your shin, on your ankle, on your thigh, you choose. And then if you decide to reach up, grow your tree, do so, or spreading your arms wide with palms up. Again, that drishti, that gaze, that focus with soft eyes, soft face. Make sure you're still breathing. One more breath. And then slowly finding your way back into mountain pose. And grounding both feet once again. Take a moment here. And then let's inhale, reach to the sky. And as we exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And then heel toe your feet a little bit wider so they're like mat width apart. And then grab your big toes with your peace fingers, your index and middle finger, and wrap around. If you need to bend your knees in order to do this, go ahead and do that. And then inhale, halfway lift, holding onto your toes, press your toes into your fingers and pull your toes up with your fingers. So opposite actions. Exhale, fold, let your elbows bend out to the side. Let your head drop. So we're going to stay here for a few breaths. Top of your head spilling towards earth, letting all those thoughts spill out into the earth. Maybe turn your head from one side to the other. Release any tension in your neck. And then maybe slide your shoulder blades towards your hips. So in this position, it would be sliding them up and away from your ears. If you were standing up, it would be sliding them down. And let's just have a couple more breaths here. Keep pressing into the heels and activate your outer shins by sliding your feet away from one another, lifting your knees towards your hips. Take one more breath here. And then inhale, halfway lift once again. And then plant your hands, step back into downward facing dog. So we are going to move into pigeon from our downward facing dog. And you can also do it from tabletop if that's more appropriate for your body today. But let's start with the right leg. So if you're in dog, you can float that right leg up to the sky, three-legged dog. And as you exhale, draw that right knee towards your right wrist and the ankle towards your left wrist. And then walk that back leg back a little bit. So we're going to do a little bit different stuff in our pigeon today. So make sure that you have got a place where your forehead can rest as you extend down into sleeping pigeon. And it might be a block. It might be your stacked fists. But as you come down into your variation of pigeon, we're going to do a little bit of that rock and roll kind of nervous system soothing. So we're going to rock a little bit over towards that right leg and use your hands to adjust here. And just see what that feels like, almost to the outside of that right hip. And then slowly rock into center, and maybe we rock over to the left, and maybe use your hands to lift up a little bit as that brings more tension. So we're just going to really gently do a little bit of rocking. Kind of like we've been doing in those other poses like we did in our cobra. Just gently rocking. Let it be soothing. Don't let it be painful. Don't let it be pushing or forcing. Let this be a more soothing kind of sensation. And you can be on your forearms here, just softly rocking side to side, nice and gentle and slow. And then maybe you want to find a spot where you want to find stillness, that you can let your head rest down. in your pigeon pose. Let your breath soften. You've got 2 more breaths here. And then you're slowly going to begin to make your way back to downward facing dog. And take a few moments in your down dog to just kind of stretch that out however feels good for you. Maybe 3-legged dog, maybe fire hydrant, maybe child's pose, whatever you need to do before we move to your second side. And I'm going to turn the heat on a little bit so that we're not cold as we begin to wind down. Another breath or 2 to stretch it out. And then let's move into our second side with left, floating it up. And exhale, knee to the left wrist, ankle to the right wrist. You can walk that back leg back a little bit, come up on your toes, walk it back. Take your time coming into your sleeping pigeon, and maybe you stay on your forearms, or maybe you even stay on your hands for the beginning. And we're gonna just gently rock over to that left hip. See what that feels like. And then rock over to the right, which intensifies it a bit, but just play with that and see what it feels like. Nice and slow, gentle rocking motions, like you're rocking a baby. Gently, side to side. Being kind and compassionate to yourself here. Notice all the little nuances in your hip. And then when you're ready, find a place to settle in stillness. No rush to get to the stillness. And as you find your spot for stillness, take some nice deep breaths, exhaling to let go. Feel like you need a little more rocking before your stillness, go ahead and do that as well. 2 more breaths here. Last breath. Then slowly making your way into downward facing dog. That might mean pausing in tabletop, taking a break in child's pose. That might mean 3-legged dog or fire hydrant. Take whatever you need to feel good in your body, to feel nourished, to allow your nervous system to be soothed. And whenever you feel ready, we're going to make our way to a seat. We'll all meet there on your own time. So we're going to come into Dandasana, which is legs straight out in front of you, feet flexed, toes pointing up to the ceiling. And you can use your hands to support you here and just sit up nice and tall and straight, which in itself, for some of us, can feel like a lot of work. Let's take another breath or 2 here with a nice long spine. And then we're going to draw our left knee in and sit up nice and tall here. And then we're going to take the right leg into that Baddha Konasana shape. This is a a sitting posture that I sit in a lot, even in a chair. I sit like this a lot. It's just really comfortable. Not comfortable for everybody. So your right leg is out to the side in that Baddha Konasana shape. Left knee is going to remain up, and we're going to sit up nice and tall. And then we're going to bring opposite arm, or our arms on either side of that down side, the right knee. And if you need something under your leg, if you need a block or something under that right knee, go ahead and place something under there. Or maybe it's your sweater or your blanket, whatever you have. So a hand on either side. Now, if you're really tight, this might be as far as you get, and that's absolutely fine. But we're going to try extending that left arm. So we're going to reach that left arm, and because this knee is going to remain vertical, you might not get very far. But we're looking for sensation, not how far you can get. So just reaching till you feel sensation. You might feel it in your low back or your hip. You might feel it in your side body. And you might bring this right hand down to your forearm, to your elbow. But we're just reaching here. Any amount, whatever you're feeling, but really reaching through that left hand to feel those sensations. And keeping that left knee vertical. Is anybody not feeling a sensation here? I feel a ton in my left hip, so I'm just assuming everybody's feeling something. And then from here, you can either come upright or swing around, and we're going to come into center and do the same thing, really reaching through that, both hands, but especially through your left. So the left knee is still vertical. The right knee is down towards the floor, any amount. Oh, sorry, no, your left sit bone can come up off the floor. Sorry, I didn't say that. Yeah. And then we're going to come back upright. Keep your legs in this same position, but bring your left hand to the inside of this knee, your right hand out behind you. Take an inhale nice and tall, and then we're twisting to our right. So notice as you twist towards your right that your chest is really open and expansive. And your belly is twisting towards the right, and that left knee is vertical still. And then come to center. And we're going to release both legs straight in Dandasana once again. Maybe shaking it out. Notice how one hip might feel different than the other right now. Maybe. And then let's bring the right knee vertical. And bring the left leg into Baddha Konasana. And I think I need something under my knee for this one. So let's start by sitting up nice and tall and straight. And then we're going to bring a hand on either side of that knee. And you're really going to extend through your right arm this time. And maybe you come to your left forearm. Maybe you stay up on your hand. Whatever works for your body. And you're going to reach through that right hand as much as you're comfortably able to. So you should feel a stretch into the right side body. So you know what I want you to do, because you're super hypermobile, is I want you to, this knee as though you're drawing it in, even though you're not drawing it in, you're creating that action of drawing it in. So maybe even bring your elbow here and press your knee into your elbow like you're trying to push. So you'll notice that it's creating some strengthening in here probably, right? Yeah. So that's your work there, to create strength, to help counteract being super hypermobile, to keep your joints safe. That makes sense? Yeah, okay. And then if you need to take a break and just stretch through that right side body and then come back to this again, you can do that. And then let's all swing to center. And so you can create that same thing here, maybe pressing that upper knee into your shoulder as you reach. So Callie, if you bring your right arm down, can you press this knee into your shoulder like I've got my knee here? Yeah, so reach, yeah, there. Now press that knee into your shoulder, create that strength. And everybody else can reach through that right hand especially. And then come back upright. Right arm inside that knee, and we can all do this. Press this knee into that arm and the arm into the knee, and feel what that does in the hip, creating some strengthening. Left hand out behind you, we're twisting to the left. Keeping this tall spine. Notice how your heart becomes expansive. Belly's twisting to the left as well, especially every exhale. One more breath. And then release back to center. Extend your legs straight out in front of you. Maybe shake it out. And now, goodness, I was going to have a really long time left for Yoga Nidra. Don't know what happened to the hour. We're going to lie down for Yoga Nidra. Did that seem like an hour we've been doing this? Seemed like we hardly did anything, right? So grab your blankets, grab your socks, grab your sweaters. I am going to turn the heat down shortly so that you can hear me over the noise of the heater. But get ready to be comfortable and warm. So take a couple moments to set that up, whatever that looks like for you. And then as you lie down, let your feet be away from each other. So let your feet just flop open a little bit wider. Don't have them right up against each other. Let your arms come away from your sides. And once everybody's laying down and settled, I'm going to turn the heat down and we'll get started on our Yoga Nidra. All right, as you make your way onto your back, let's just start by reaching both arms straight overhead to begin with. And reach through your right leg and your right arm and get as long as you can on an inhale through that whole right side body. So really extending, extending. And then relax, let that go. And then do the same on the left side. Extend through your right foot, through your right arm. Get as long as that, left, as long as that left side body can get. And then release into an exhale. And then go ahead and bring your hands just a little bit away from your side body. And take a nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, allow your body to soften down. So we're going to be working with something called a sankalpa today. And I'm going to read a statement for you and you're going to fill in the blank. And we're going to use this through our Yoga Nidra tonight. So the statement is, I release my judgment about blank that causes me stress, tension, and fear. I rest in calm awareness. So you can fill in that blank with anything. It could be a situation, it can be a person, it can even be something about yourself. So just take a moment to decide what that's going to be. I'll read it again. I release my judgment about blank that causes me stress, tension, and fear. And now begin to let go, to relax, become effortless. Let all those meditative movements that we did help you to soften and calm your nervous system. And let's start with our face. We're going to actually rub your palms together and create a little bit of heat. And then place your fingertips on your eyelids with the palm of your hand on your face. And feel that warmth from your hands. And then really gently with your fingertips, begin to massage from your eyebrows to your hairline. Nice and gentle circles with your fingertips. And then down your temples and down to your jawline, spending a moment circling right at that place in front of your ears at your jaw joint. Down your jaw, and then to the outside corners of your mouth, and to the outside corners of your nose, to the bridge of your nose. And letting all that tension melt away. And then maybe you bring your fingers to the back of your neck, kind of the top of your shoulders, and give that a couple of squeezes. And then bring your palms back to your face with fingertips on your eyelids. Drop all expression from your face. Take a deep breath and let go. And then release your arms down. Eyes are closed. And just feel whatever you feel, the impact of that little face massage on your whole body, and bathe in the sensations. Begin to relax, to trust, and to let go. Breathe in fully and exhale with a deep sigh. Do that 2 more times. Letting go each time a little bit more. Each time feel contentment and peace in your heart. Now remain relaxed and motionless, alert and conscious. Stay in touch with my guidance. Do not fall asleep, but remain relaxed, motionless, and effortless. We enter into the subconscious pranic body, letting go of the physical body and the mind. Shift from thinking and doing to feeling and being. Do nothing. Simply relax. Drop into tranquility, stillness, and peace. Your consciousness in direct communion through the energy body, your pranic body, your breath. As you bring your full attention to your breath. Using your breath to release any tensions. The breath flows in a steady, uniform, unbroken stream. Bring all your attention to the contraction and expansion of the abdomen. As you breathe in deeply and breathe out deeply. Breathe out any holdings in the body, using breath to enter a deeper level of stillness and silence. We're going to take 10 slow, deep breaths, counting 10 I am breathing in. 10, I am breathing out. And continue 9, 8, and so on. As you continue counting, be absorbed in the sound of your own breath. And let yourself be more relaxed and peaceful with each and every breath as you continue to count down. And then you can let go of counting the breath and feel the energetic impact of breath in the form of pulsations in the body. Experience it. Energy flows. Attention follows. The mind melts and merges with the river of energy flowing through the body. Drop into that silent space where all doing stops. Let go. Let go even more. Let your attention gently rest on the part of the body as I mention it. All 10 toes, both ankles, both knees, pelvis, belly, chest, shoulders, both arms, throat, chin, whole face, head, back of your head, shoulder blades, back, buttocks, calves, heels, soles of the feet. Sense your whole body from head to toes. Whole body contained in vast, spacious awareness. Resting in witness consciousness. Allow yourself to receive the following images and experiences. Judge nothing. Remain unconditionally open and present to all the passing in the field of awareness. Let these images move into your awareness and pass by. Church bells ringing, crescent moon, laughing Buddha, a star in the sky, an endless desert, And now bring your attention to your third eye center, that space behind your forehead, and drop into the deepest level of relaxation. You have entered the domain of grace. Let your mind merge and melt into the sanctuary of silence. Now we will bring your intention back into your awareness. I release my judgment about blank that causes me stress, tension, and fear. I rest in calm awareness. I release my judgment about blank that causes me stress, tension, and fear. I rest in calm awareness. I release my judgment about blank that causes me stress, tension, and fear. I rest in calm awareness. Now allow this intention to go into the deepest levels of recognition and awareness. And know that your higher self recognizes, honors, and accepts this intention. Have faith and trust that it has been heard and is being acted upon by the higher source within you. There is no need for you to do anything about it. Now bring your attention back to the space between your eyebrows and feel all the energies and meridians of the body have been activated, purified, and balanced. All channels are open and life force or prana is flowing freely, healing the body, calming the mind. Open your heart to contentment. Establish yourself firmly in trust and guidance of the higher self within. If you have any areas that may be in need of healing, physical, emotional, or spiritual, allow light, love, and healing to flow there now. Begin to become aware of the rising and falling of your breath. Feel yourself begin to rise to the surface of awareness. Sense the body resting on the floor. The quality of the air as it touches your skin. And then bring your intention into your awareness one last time. I release my judgment about blank that causes me stress, tension, and fear. I rest in calm awareness. Begin to deepen your breath. And begin to move as though you are waking up from a sleep. And as you begin to come back into your body, roll into fetal position when you feel ready. And let yourself rest there. And as you prepare to sit up, keep your eyes closed. Let your head be the last thing to come up as you press yourself up. And continue to stay in this deepen this inner experience, this sense of peace and contentment. And bring it with you as you come to your seat. And bring attention back to your body. And with eyes closed, notice how relaxed the body is, how soft the breath, how silent the mind, how quiet the heartbeat. Be still and be grateful, and know that you can easily enter here at any time. Bring your hands to your heart, palms are on your heart, and just sit for a moment in this calm awareness. As we are encased in our food body, notice how soft the pranic body has become. And as the prana undulates deeply, notice how this affects the mind. And in this state of calm awareness, you can sense this to be a healthy place to make choices in life and use your wisdom and capacity to discern. And as bliss begins to make itself known, as we clear away the veils around consciousness itself, we are free to respond from a place of peace and wisdom. The self-illuminating body with no beginning or end. Bring your hands to your heart center. Take a deep inhale and exhale. And we'll inhale to Om 3 times. Let your eyes gently flutter open as you come back to this space. Namaste, namaste, namaste.